Is the Chrisley Knows best star Julie Chrisley getting out of prison early? Well, not necessarily, but she did have a small legal win where now they have to re-sentence her.
Here we go now.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So as you know, we reported initially on the Chrisleys and all of their legal drama, and I said I was putting them on a timeout as they serve their sentence. And I've seen the countless podcast episodes their daughter has been doing, talking about injustice when it comes to the prison system. However, this might be some good news for the Chrisley family. And look, for those that don't know, I was a fan of the Chrisley's reality show. Even how pre-produced it was entertaining. But when I found out that maybe possibly these folks were involved in defrauding banks and the government, and I know you're thinking, well, they defraud us. How does that affect me? And I told you in those videos, it does affect you. This is why it makes it harder for people like you that don't have the privilege or the money that they do. They make it harder for people like you and me to get loans and opportunities that they were given because they abused it. I'll get off my soapbox. So our friends over at Us Weekly are letting us know, what does this mean in regards to this appeal that Julie Chrisley just recently won? So they said Julie Chrisley's prison sentence was thrown out by an appeals court, ruling that the judge in her 2022 trial miscalculated her sentence. So the judges of the 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals did not find evidence to prove that Chrisley, who's 51, was involved in the entire bank fraud scheme, which began in 2006. They said, after careful consideration and with the benefit of oral argument, we affirm that the district court on all issues except for the loss amount attributed to Julie, the judges stated, per court documents obtained by Us Weekly on Monday, June 24th. The district court did not identify the evidence it relied on to hold Julie accountable for losses incurred before 2007, and we cannot independently find it in the record. So the docs, which were filed on Friday, June 21st, continued. So we vacate Julie's sentence and remand solely for the district court to make the factual findings and calculations necessary to determine loss, restitution, and forfeiture as Julie and to resentence her accordingly. So doesn't mean she's getting out of jail, but it could. She's been in jail, about a year? So, depending on what her next sentence will be. So the Chrisley's case will now be sent to a lower court for resentencing. So in response to the ruling, Chrisley's legal team told Us Weekly the 11th Court Circuit of Appeals reversed Ms. Chrisley's sentencing and remanded the case for her to be resentenced. While this is not a dismissal of the case against her, it will result in a new sentence conforming with the appeals court's instructions. Julie and her husband, Todd Chrisley's daughter, Savannah Chrisley, took to the social media to share the update in the case. Didn't necessarily go as we hoped, Savannah, who's 26, said in a video uploaded on Instagram on Friday, but we do have a little win.
All right, guys, I wanted you to hear it from me first before it hit the press. We got the opinion back on the appeal. Didn't necessarily go as we had hoped, but we do have a little win. So I will read to you word for word from the opinion so that you know exactly where we stand. After careful consideration and with the benefit of oral argument, we affirm the district court on all issues except for the loss amount attributed to Julie. The district court did not identify the evidence it relied on to hold Julie accountable for losses incurred before 2007, and we cannot independently find it in the record. So we vacate Julie's sentence and remand solely for the district court to make the factual findings and calculations necessary to determine loss, restitution, and forfeiture as to Julie, and to resentence her accordingly. So basically what this means is that the appeals court could not find any evidence that attributed this $17 million loss amount to my mother. And for that, I am grateful, and I hope and pray that the judge can send her home. Right now, if we won nothing on appeal, she would be home this time in 2026. So I am a firm believer that she will be coming home sooner rather than later. And this right here should honestly scare you guys at the fact that an appeals court is saying that they could not identify the evidence in which the prosecutors used to try and convict my mother of this and hold her accountable for this loss amount. So we can go into further detail later, but I really wanted you to get this information from me first. Please just be prayerful, and I have some other ideas up my sleeve to get Dad home.
So after reading the verdict, Savannah explains to her followers what the ruling meant. What the ruling means is that the appeals court could not find any evidence that attributed to the $17 million loss amount to my mother. And for that, I am grateful, and I hope and pray that the judge can send her home. Savannah added that she's a firm believer that her mom would be coming home sooner rather than later. She concluded, please just be prayerful and have some other ideas. And I have some other ideas up my sleeve to get Dad home. Okay. Julie and Todd, who are 55, were indicted, as you know, back in 2019 on charges of tax evasion, bank and wire fraud, and conspiracy. The former reality TV stars were found guilty in June of 2022. So they were found guilty in June of 2022. Todd was sentenced to 12 years in prison, while Julie received a 7-year sentence. Us previously confirmed that Todd's sentence was reduced to 10 years. Julie's sentence was also reduced by 14 months. So depending on the resentencing, who knows? She might get out. It depends. It really depends. I'm assuming that she's going to get less time. So back in January of 2023, Todd and Julie began serving their sentences at Federal Prison Camp Pensacola and Federal Medical Center, respectively. The couple have maintained their innocence. Back in April, Savannah shared that her goal was to have her parents out soon. I'm looking forward to our appeal on April 19th, Savannah told Entertainment Tonight at the time. Obviously, I hope to have them home maybe later in the summer. Along with that, Savannah, the incarcerated couple, share, as you know, their son Chase, who's 28, and Grayson, who's 18. Wow, Grayson's 18. Todd is also a dad to daughter Lindsay, who's 34, and son Kyle, who's 32, from his marriage to Teresa Terry. Since Todd and Julie went to prison, Savannah has been raising Grayson and her estranged brother Kyle's 11-year-old daughter, Chloe, who was also featured on the show. I also saw, not too long ago, a recent interview that she did with her grandmother, Savannah did with her grandmother. Savannah has been on a campaign to free her parents. You can't blame her. Those are her parents. And if you watch the Chrisley Knows Best reality series, she relied heavily on them. She was the apple of her father's eye. So not having her parents around, I'm sure it's doing a toll on her and the family. And now she's really forced to grow up and take care of her younger brother and her niece. So I know that can't be easy, but some of the things that Savannah has said during this process has been so, what's the word? Not well thought out, very privileged, very, I can't think of the actual term that I'm thinking of, but you guys know what I'm referring to. But that's the update. So it doesn't mean officially that Julie Chrisley will be free, but it is a little bit of a win. And because she has been serving time already, depending on what her resentencing looks like, she might be out and just, put on parole. We shall see. Once we have an update, guys, we will let you know. And if you want to make sure you get that update, make sure you are subscribed and you have your notifications on. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.
Here we go now.